It's so over. We're so back. Maybe to the FBI, these are dangerous terms reserved for the dredges of society. 4chan, Sam Hyde fans, iFunny users, alt-right evil-maxing dog whistles meant to accelerate the fall of Western society. And on the other hand, maybe to the average internet kid, they're just funny memes to use at any minor inconvenience. Dropping a fork, spilling some milk, looking at Tinder and feeling black-pilled on modern dating. Nothing more than the newest catchphrase for teenagers to be edgy with in a way that adults will never understand. But those aren't the only two ways to interpret this meme. Because to me, Cracksmoker96, your favorite virtual idol, these terms encapsulate one of the most important elements of the human experience. An element which is not only necessary to your development as an individual, but unavoidable. Absolutely inevitable. I'm talking about rock bottom. The loss of all hope. The feeling of complete and utter despair. A seemingly endless void in which each and every one of us has been in, or will end up in at some point in our lives. You already know who I am, so let's break down this meme, talk about when it feels like it's so over, and the post-ironic charm of the antonymous "we're so back."
It's the Triple Bepple Super Show.
I don't know if I pronounced that word right. Antonymous? Antonymous? I don't know, man. Basically, we're talking about memes again today, and we're taking it way too seriously, applying it as an allegory for an aspect of the human experience. So let's jump into it, shall we? And yeah, obviously this video is pretentious and annoying and gay, and I don't care. Psychoanalyzing memes in relation to the modern socio-cultural zeitgeist is fun. And yeah, I know that I'm just like your English teacher who wanted to explain the metaphor of the blue curtains and sadness. I don't mind it. It's a style of content.
It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
So I suppose it's necessary to discuss the origin of the phrase first. And while I do disagree with the FBI on many things, I must admit that, yeah, from what I can remember personally, "It's so over" was a black pill thing before it hit the mainstream. It was a phrase used to describe the hopelessness of incels born without good genetics. People would respond with, "It never began," because in that community they would like to wallow in the idea that they were cursed since birth, to always be complete losers, and there's no hope for unattractive people in the dating world. So it would start with, "Guys, look at this selfie. It's so over, isn't it?" And people would be like, "It never began." Side note of personal opinion here.
Yes.
Anyways, sorry for the sidetrack. Basically, "It's so over" began in a community structured around reveling in hopelessness, and it was a phrase used to emphasize that exact feeling of hopelessness. This connotation carries over into its modern incarnation to a degree, but the thing that's different about it is that its response phrase has changed. Funny, isn't it? In a community built upon hopelessness, the response was, "It never began." But in the larger scope of human society, the accompanying phrase has become, "We're so back." This shift in and of itself is a statement on the perspectives of each of these groups in relation to feeling hopeless. "We're so back" diminishes the hopeless nature of the first phrase and is often used in a way that minimizes the prior impact of the phrase and its accompanying context as a whole. Sort of the antithesis of the aforementioned connotation of "it's so over." "It's so over" embodies the feeling of complete hopelessness, the idea that there is no future, that there is no point in any further attempt at salvation. But then "we're so back" is the clarity after the pain. The look back at the dark tunnel you just escaped from and the thought that, that wasn't so bad. We're so back. And, I understand that this probably isn't understandable to a lot of people. I am not very good at articulating my thoughts, but say I drop my phone and it lands screen down. I don't know if it's cracked, but it very well could be. "It's so over," I say. That drop definitely broke my phone screen. I can't afford to fix it. My mind races as I try to wonder how I'll call the company I'm interviewing for tomorrow. The phone could very well be broken from that fall. Tears well up in my eyes as I think of how I'll be able to recover from this groundbreaking loss. I could pawn my grandmother's necklace maybe. Would I even be able to have time to have it repaired before the interview tomorrow? I'm on the edge of homelessness. If I can't make that call tomorrow, I'm done. It's just over. I know the code to the safe at my dad's house. Maybe I could find a nice patch of wood somewhere and I pick up the phone. It's fine. Not even a scratch. We're so back. And maybe a bit of a dramatic example, but you know what I mean. Rather than being an expression of the never-ending, self-fulfilling void of inceldom, the phrase has become an expression in the more common void of the life hiccups that anyone can have in their life journey. Sort of that feeling of, worry, of paranoia, of complete despair, of hopelessness. But it's been used in such a way that it's almost ironic now. A wise line cook once said to me, "In the journey to become a man, suffering is not only necessary, but it is inevitable." Everyone has a rock bottom, and while that may not entail losing absolutely everything, it's the simple experience of a fall from grace that shapes the kind of man that you become. The way that you react to such devastation reveals a lot that you wouldn't know about yourself otherwise. And man, that line cook was a good guy. I miss that guy. We used to go out for drinks after work all the time and just shoot the shit. It was so cool. And it was also so cool that bar never ID'd me. Anyways, like he said, to suffer is an inevitable part of the human experience. This meme, as unserious as memes generally are, it's an expression of that very sentiment. It's an expression of that fall from grace and its underlying connotations. And while yes, it's used ironically, it speaks to the greater human psyche in a way that only a meme could. Memes are vehicles of modern culture. They express common aspects of human psychology that we can relate to and laugh at. They're a better representation of specific sentiments in modern culture than any other medium has been for all of history. They are agreed upon by popular consensus as valuable, and shared by a larger number of people than any old book on philosophy or manuscript on existentialism ever has been. Memes are our collective consciousness's way of expressing the sentiments of humanity as a whole, and there's something beautiful in that. You can look at world events and see people reacting, "It's so over." But then you can look at the solutions to those problems and see people saying, "We're so back." So basically, what I'm trying to say is, memes are an expression of humanity as a whole, and the fact that "it's so over" and "we're so back" are picked up by the modern cultural zeitgeist, it's sort of a statement on how all of us can feel hopeless at certain points in our lives, but we all have the ability to get so back. So basically, in terms of the wider cultural zeitgeist thing, it's basically the same thing I said in the Sisyphus one. Sorry, I had to pad out the video somehow. Needed to get those mid-roll ads. So basically, to sum up everything I think about this meme in one short paragraph because I hit the 10-minute mark and don't feel like editing anymore. 1. Suffering is inherent to the human condition, and the "it's so over" meme is a melodramatic satirization of that concept, which makes the phrase itself relatable to, well, our entire species. 2. The change to "we're so back" emphasized the distinct difference in perspective on that aforementioned human suffering between the depressed incel community that the meme originated in and the world at large who adopted and evolved it. 3. The way the meme stands now, it's a meta-ironic catchphrase of sorts that's extremely versatile in its potential use cases. One might use it in its classic ironic way, to over-dramatize some minor event. You could also use it in a meta-ironic way, to flip that usual ironic connotation on its head, to describe a serious topic in a non-serious sort of way. Or hell, you could even use it in a post-ironic way to describe something that you might genuinely feel hopeless about while also using silly language to make fun of it a little. And 4. I like it, I use it a lot, "it's so over, we're so back," and this video is basically a plea to the CIA and the FBI to take these phrases off of your incel red flags list. They're commentary on the human condition. Please, I'm begging you, Director of the CIA, Director of the FBI, both of you, I know you watch my videos. Take this off the list because this is an innocent little meme. It's nice, it's commentary, it's philosophical. And yeah, that's it. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to today's hastily pumped together slop recycled from a script I wrote over 6 months ago. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like it, I'll buy you a yacht. That's right, if you click that like button right now, I'll buy you a $5 million yacht. This is not a joke, this is real. It will show up immediately in your house, and I hope you like your new yacht. And as always,
Subscribe to make me feel better about my regrets.
also, I'd like to give a quick special thank you and a special shout out to my Patreons over at patreon.com. For our connoisseurs of fine art, I'd like to thank Vershi, Thickmelon, Tech9, Prisoner Suicide, Polar, Knight of the World, Mercury OG, Frodo Bag o' Weed, Derpy Doug, Conscious Junk, and Chairfruit. For our pseudo-intellectual supporters, I'd like to give a special thank you to Slow Slicing, Saws, Misos Al Pinks, and the one and only Zucchini. And last but most certainly not least, I'd like to give a super special thank you and a special shout out to my super simp, the highest tier of donation, the person who is literally paying for all my cigarettes for the month. Thank you so much to Dell. God bless you, and to all my patrons and channel members, Trapstar Chronicles coming out in 2 weeks. That's right, it's going to be a 50-page PDF, all crayon drawings, mixed media approach. We're using real pictures, crayons, motherfucking Photoshop. We're using a bunch of shit, so I hope you like it. I've spent a lot of time on it, and I've had a lot of fun making it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy what's coming up next. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep it real. The black pill community is just self-hating copium for people who are too pathetic to try being anything other than a loser. If you genuinely believe that your life is over and you're never going to find a beautiful babe just because you have a weak jawline, you deserve that weak jawline. And you deserve negative canthal tilt too. I used to sympathize with these guys until I realized that life is really fun and easy when you choose to stop playing a pathetic character. Surrounding yourself with a loser community and allowing yourself to believe that you are a loser, it's a nice way to get validation, yeah, but it's also a way to ensure that you stay in that place forever. You will never change so long as you believe that about yourself.
If you in 2020 and your dog ain't typing your papers, you ain't living right. I get my dog to proofread my shit. I get my dog to analyze my shit. You know what I'm saying? You see him? He's saving it. He's saving it for me. He running it through the algorithms. That's what I do, man. My boy, man. Self-taught. You know what I'm saying? #1 K9 English teacher.